The Kalahari delegation had arrived on the human research station with all the ceremonial pomp their species could muster. Ambassador Threll, resplendent in ceremonial plating, had brought his younglings, what humans called cubs, to learn about the strange mammals who had recently joined the galactic community. The Kalahari were an old species, civilized for millennia, and they prided themselves on measured wisdom and controlled curiosity. Nara Quinn, the station's xenobiologist, had been assigned to give the cubs a tour of Earth's cultural exhibit. She was young for a human diplomat, barely 30 cycles, with wild auburn hair she kept tied back and an enthusiasm that made the elder Kalahari uneasy. But the cubs, 7 of them, ranging from knee-high to waist-high, seemed fascinated by everything she showed them. "And this," Nara said, pulling a dark, ridged object from a preservation case, "is a trilobite fossil. It's over 500 million years old." The cubs' head crests flared with interest. Ziki, the smallest and most inquisitive of the group, pressed forward, her bright amber eyes fixed on the ancient stone. 500 million, she chittered in broken standard. "Your world kept bones in rock?" Nara laughed, the sound warm and genuine. "Not bones exactly. When creatures died, sometimes they got buried in sediment. Over millions of years, the sediment turned to stone, and the creature's shape was preserved. We call them fossils. They're like messages from the past." "Messages," Ziki repeated, reverent. She reached out with a careful claw. "May I?" Nara placed the trilobite in the cub's small hands. "This little guy lived in Earth's oceans before there were any animals on land. Before trees. Before flowers. Earth has changed so much since then." Ziki's crest vibrated, a sign of deep excitement in Kalahari cubs. "Earth keeps its memories in stone." "That's beautiful," Nara said softly. "I never thought of it that way, but yes. Earth remembers." The tour concluded without incident, and the Kalahari delegation returned to their assigned habitat dome in the valley settlement. Ambassador Threll thanked Nara for her patience with the younglings, and everything seemed perfectly normal, until 3 days later. Nara's communicator buzzed urgently at dawn. "Quinn, we have a situation," her supervisor's voice crackled. "The Kalahari cubs have... Well, you need to see this." When Nara arrived at the valley in her transport, she stopped dead in her tracks. The pristine landscape that had housed the Kalahari delegation now looked like an archaeological disaster zone. The cubs had dug dozens, no, hundreds of holes across the valley floor. Small mounds of excavated soil dotted the landscape like a prairie dog colony on stimulants. And in the center of it all, Ziki stood atop a pile of rocks, covered head to tail in dirt, holding something above her head in triumph. "Earthbone," the cub shrieked. "I found Earthbone." The other cubs rushed over, chittering excitedly, while Ambassador Threll stood nearby, his crest flat, with what Nara had learned was Kalahari embarrassment. "Dr. Quinn," Threll said miserably, "I apologize." When Ziki told the others about the memory stones, they became obsessed. "I tried to explain that fossils require specific geological conditions, but they insisted that if Earth keeps memories in stone, then all of Earth's stone must have memories. They've been digging non-stop since yesterday evening." Nara approached Ziki's mound. The cub scrambled down, presenting her find with immense pride. It was a rock. Just a rock. Not even a particularly interesting rock. "See?" Ziki said. "Earthbone, from before trees, from before flowers." Nara's heart melted. She knelt down, examining the rock seriously. "This is a very good rock, Ziki. But I think this one is just stone. Fossils have special patterns." "Earthbone," another cub shouted from 50 meters away. "Come see." What followed was perhaps the strangest afternoon of Nara's career. She moved from hole to hole, examining each earthbone the cubs had discovered. Most were rocks. Some were interesting minerals. One was a piece of plastic that had somehow ended up buried in the valley. But then, at hole number 47, she stopped. "Wait," Nara whispered, brushing dirt away from the object a cub named Prill had unearthed. Her hands trembled slightly. "Wait! This is... Oh my God! It was a genuine fossil, a beautifully preserved fern from Earth's Carboniferous period, at least 300 million years old. The detail was exquisite. Earth bone? Prill asked hopefully. Yes, Nara breathed. Yes, Prill. This is absolutely an earth bone. This is an incredible find. The cubs erupted in celebration, and within minutes, they'd redoubled their efforts. Nara called the station, and within hours, a full geological survey team had arrived. By the end of the week, the cub excavation site had yielded 17 genuine fossils, including 3 species previously unknown to human paleontology. The valley, it turned out, sat atop a fossil bed that Earth's preliminary surveys had completely missed. The discovery made interstellar news. Kalahari cubs, driven by pure, unbridled enthusiasm and a human's casual sharing of a 500 million-year-old trilobite, had uncovered a treasure trove of Earth's prehistory. At the closing ceremony, Ambassador Threll approached Nara with what she now recognized as Kalahari amusement. Your species is dangerous, Dr. Quinn. Nara raised an eyebrow. Dangerous? You share your passions so freely, so infectiously. You handed my daughter a piece of deep time, as if it were a simple gift. Now she wants to be a fossil hunter. They all do. He gestured to the cubs, who were receiving tiny excavation tools from the human research team. You've given them an obsession that will last lifetimes. Nara grinned. We humans have a saying. Enthusiasm is contagious. Indeed, Threll said, and you are all carriers. Ziki ran up, fossil fern clutched carefully in her small hands. Nara, when I grow up, I'll find earth bones on 100 worlds. I'll find memories everywhere. Nara knelt down, eye level with the cub. I believe you will, Ziki. And I can't wait to see what you discover. As the Kalahari delegation departed, their cargo hold full of fossils and reference materials, Nara watched from the station's observation deck. Somewhere in that ship, 7 cubs were planning their next excavation, dreaming of ancient memories locked in stone. And Nara smiled, knowing she'd done something very human. She'd shared wonder with someone who'd never experienced it quite that way before. The galaxy would never be the same.